Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Outgrow's Marketer of the Month. I'm your host, Dr. Saksham Sharda. I'm the creative director at Outgrow.co. And for this month, we're going to interview Jean-Philippe, who's a TEDx speaker and partner at Perestroika Group. Thanks for joining us, Jean.
Thanks so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Jean, we're going to start with a rapid-fire round. Just to break the ice, you get 3 passes. In case you don't want to answer the question, you can just say pass, but try to keep your answers to one word or one sentence only, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the first one is, at what age do you want to retire?
60?
Okay, how long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
5 minutes?
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
Most embarrassing moment. Maybe one day I was at stage in one sentence, right? I forgot my thoughts during a talk in front of 100 people. Yeah.
All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
What time of day are you most inspired?
Mornings, for sure.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on?
Can I survive? I would say none, but I need at least 6 hours to be on shape.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming marketing trend is blank.
Marketing trend is reality.
Okay. The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Wow. City. Thailand.
Okay. Pick one, Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk.
It depends on what.
We just have to pick one.
Oh, shit.
Or you can pass if you like.
Yeah, I pass.
The biggest mistake of your career.
Not follow my dreams earlier.
Mm-hmm. How do you relax?
Surfing.
How many cups of coffee do you drink in a day?
At least one.
A habit of yours that you hate.
I don't know how to say in English. Eating my nails, like.
Biting your nails. You say biting your nails, yeah.
Biting my nails, yeah.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
Work space back.
Okay. And the last one is your favorite Netflix, Amazon, any online show, TV show.
One. I would say Breaking Bad, the first one that came to my mind.
All right. So that's the end of the rapid fire round. Now we can move on to the bigger questions, unless there's one rapid fire question that you want to elaborate more on. Anywhere you felt you wanted to give a bigger answer.
No, I'm okay, yeah.
Okay. So for the bigger questions, the first one is, as a partner at Perestroika, could you share some insights into the creative activities and programs offered by the school?
Yeah, sure. So the basis for our project, it's our methodology. We have a serious commitment to the act of teaching and learning, and this is what sets us apart from other schools. I'm based in Portugal, but our company started in Brazil, and we are now working with other countries. And I feel that there's a boom related to education, right? And creating new courses, new programs. And we are a 16-year company, and we've seen this changing a lot, the market changing a lot. And our methodology, which is Outgrow, is based on experience, which means that everything that happens during a course or a class is something that we think about that, and we create any kind of exercise or dynamic or experience to help the participants to connect the content that we're bringing in. So this ends up really connecting the individual with the content. And there's a neuro part of that we studied that explains why this works, because we are connecting both memory. We have the semantic memory and the episodic memory. So the semantic memory, it refers of a type of declarative memory that stores general knowledge. Like, for example, you know that Paris is the capital of France, or you understand the concept of gravity, right? So it's stored in your semantic memory. And 99% of the school's methods or methodologies based on the traditional way of how can we teach and learn, it's based on semantic memory. And we studied the episodic memory, which is a form of declarative memory that stores personal experience and events in a sequential and temporal order. For example, you remember your last birthday celebration, right? If you close your eyes, you will teletransport yourself to the celebration. You're gonna feel the experience again. You're gonna be able to feel the hugs and the energy, right? So that's the episodic one. It's related to experience that we had. So when we create an experience inside the class, inside the workshop, inside the company that we are talking to, we are connecting both memories, the episodic one and the semantic one, because we create some experience that will be able to do something very profound in their experience. And usually people remember first the experience and then the content, and then they associate that both events. So I would say that's the basics for everything that we want to develop. So it's going to be a workshop or just a talk or a corporative academy that we develop inside companies. So everything is based on that methodology, based on experience and connecting both memories.
So does the school offer all of these workshop talks and all of these combined? Like, how does it work?
Exactly. We used to say that we are what the tagline that defines us. It's effervescent knowledge. So everything that is related to education, to knowledge, to ways of learning, we can develop anything. So that's the effervescent knowledge. It can be like a school, it can be a workshop, it could be a online festival for poker lovers or for soccer lovers. You know what I mean? So as we know and see our methodology as the base, we don't need to be the experts. So, for example, you can be an expert on podcasts. And then we're going to say, okay, let's create a course helping for people to create their own workshop, podcast. Okay. So let's do it. You have the knowledge of the task. I have the knowledge of the learning process and the methodology to help create and transform your knowledge into an experience that everybody that will listen or attend to our class or workshop will feel and live and experience something different that will help them learn better. So it could be anything that you can imagine. It could be a business trip. It could be a conference, a traditional conference, or it could be a day at the museum that we want to learn from about contemporary art.
So in your past, it seems you've attended yourself various programs like the SIY program, the Lego Serious Play, and the Chaos Pilot School. How have these experiences influenced your understanding of creativity and leadership when it comes to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I would say a lot. I mean, there's something curious about that. Because when I am a teacher, and despite being a teacher, I love being in the position of a student. I love the process of learning. So whenever I can, I look for courses and training to improve my content, because everything that I talk about is something that I developed, connecting things that I experienced and that I read and that I learned, and also to see what's being done around the world, right? I mean, what are Chaos Pilot or Legacy Display or Harvard doing, right? So besides that, I totally believe that we always have something to learn, and each of these courses helped me with something. So I could say that the Search Inside Yourself program, which is a program that was created inside Google, and it relates on mindfulness, neuroscience, and leadership. And for me, this experience brought me and I would say an integral vision of human and science concepts that I take to this day to develop my content and theories. The Lego Serious Play, which I'm a huge fan of Lego, it helped me to understand the power of relax and how important it is to insert the play, the fun, especially inside the work environment. And the Chaos Pilot experience, for me, it was much more about the power of a diverse group. So for the course that I attended, we were 20 teachers from 12 different countries. I was the only Brazilian and the first Brazilian to attend to the course. And I could feel the importance and kind of I already knew that, but it's different when we are in this, when we are feeling and learning at the same time. I mean, the different cultures, ideas, and visions, how much this enriches the learning process and also enriches my experience. So every time that I talk about creativity, every time that I try to create and organize groups inside companies, I always put in the first place the necessity to have diversity in gender, diversity in everything that you can imagine. Because when we're talking about creativity, we need to start with different point of view, and the best way to have different points of view, in my opinion, is to have diversity, looking to different perspectives.
And to what extent do you feel now that creativity is being influenced by AI and artificial intelligence? And what aspects of this are you seeing it in Perestroika or in your workshops and everything you guys do?
Well, I feel that I'm in the position of learner again, as student, because I use it every day, and I try to open the eyes of my partners and all my teams, because you have some people that sees AI and everything that's happening now with a negative perspective, and I'm an optimist. So I totally believe that this might and will help us as human beings. You can be talking about developing our creativity, developing our productivity, and what's the difference? I mean, what can separate people that will use it and will understand this as a trampoline to help us develop ourselves, and the others that will see as a threat, is how we are related to it. I see AI today as a personal assistant, and I understand that everything that comes to my mind and I think that I have an answer, before I put in practice, I just use the AI to help me see different perspectives, see different kinds of things that I'm not seeing. So now we are looking to the market and experimenting and trying to test different platforms, different kinds of AIs, and try to see where we can plug in a real work. But at the moment, we are in this kind of beta tester mode, I would say.
And so how do you think AI will impact the accessibility of creative tools and resources? Do you think it will democratize creativity or create new barriers for certain individuals or groups?
Well, that's a great question. I would say yes, AI has the potential to democratize creativity and enhance accessibility. How? Well, providing users with these friendly tools, and of course expanding the representation of different options that we have when we are talking about AI. But this will only happen if the access remains free. I mean, of course, we have paid versions already, right? But I think it's fundamental to, if you want to create, if you want to eliminate and or reduce the gap that already exists today, because it's funny to say what can AI brings us in terms of barriers of or democratization, but we already have those barriers, right? I mean, the access that I have to information is different that you have. I'm not saying that it's better or it's worse, but it's different, right? And will remain different. So if we are adding some layer, which is the layer that I'm calling is AI, and we can see this as a way to democratize knowledge, of course, the basic should remain free. I don't know how to do it. I'm not monetizing myself with AI, not my business also. But I'm sure that there is different ways to monetize it and keep the access at minimum, the access to experiment or try or be able to know how the AI works and be able to get something of it. Not maybe in a professional way. If you want a professional way, you probably have to pay for that. But I believe that the potential is there at the same level as we saw it as society when we saw internet coming in 89 when Tim Berners-Lee wrote the hypertext markup language, right? But 20, 30 years after that, we're questioning how the impact of internet could be and how the impact is, right? So as I said, I'm an optimistic. So I believe that yes, it has the potential. But of course, how this will evolve in terms of society rules, that will define the success of the democratization of knowledge.
So when you speak at international events, which topics related to creativity and innovation have resonated the most with your audience? Could you give us some examples?
Yes. Well, I would say that nowadays the most interesting topic that I feel that people are interested is the combination of how the brain works and how human beings behavior, because we are living this symbiosis world, right? I mean, when I look to the future, I see much more a combination of those perspectives. And if we don't understand how human behavior and how can we um, censor ourselves and how can we uh, see and feel that some stress level are overcoming the normal, we can regulate ourselves. We're gonna have more opportunities. We're gonna have more success in our lives, in our human relationship. In other hand, if we don't understand how our brain works, how our ideas uh, evolves, and our new how a new thought arrives, we're gonna struggle in that hand again. So I love to talk about the combination of those two aspects. When I talk about creativity, for example, I used to talk to businessmen, businesswomen. They are sometimes skeptical about creativity. They think, no, creativity is for artists, for musicians. It's not for me. I'm a CEO in a big bank corporation. I don't need that. I need to understand about numbers. And then I always try to, for that kind of audience, I always try to bring some more skeptical way of seeing creativity. And I use my knowledge about neuroscience to say, okay, you probably don't believe that creativity is important, but understand this, how the brain works. Have you heard about neuroplasticity, for example? Neuroplasticity is a recent discovery from neuroscience that our brain can adapt itself. Before 2000, we believed that the brain was something statical, right? I mean, our brain evolved until we were 5, and after that, the only thing that changed in our brain was the connections, the synapses. But no, after 2000, after a very important research on taxi drivers from London, we discovered that no, that our brain can evolve like a muscle. So if we understand that, if we accept that, and every time that we have a new idea, every time that we put effort to use a creative tool or to put effort to not only come up with one idea, but try to come up with 50 ideas, we are training our brain. We're literally changing the structure of our brain. And with this change, the next day, if we keep doing, we're gonna improve our ideas, improve the results of our work. So I try to combine that skeptical view of creativity with neuroscience, with the brain understanding of how things work inside our brain, and also how makes us feel like that. Because we know how frustrating it is when you have a lot of ideas and you present that to your boss or whatever, and then people say, "Okay, we won't use anything. That's useless." So that's useless. So the idea is understand and try to hack yourself, your behaviors, and also understand how your brain works, and then combine that. You're gonna be in a high level of performance.
So speaking of this kind of creativity, you've also worked with like global brands like Red Bull, Oracle, Coca-Cola. What challenges and opportunities do you encounter when trying to foster this kind of creativity within large organizations?
Yeah, the best part of working with great and big companies, it's about the amount of opportunity available for creativity to happen in those environments, right? So, of course, if you compare to a small company, there are also opportunities to develop creativity, but certainly the amount is smaller. So, therefore, whenever I have the opportunity to be with teams from large companies or corporations, I'm immediately remind them of this. After all, usually after a while in the same context, we stop seeing opportunities and we start seeing only failures or things that bother us, right? So um, I try to show them to change the focus and try to see opportunities. When you start seeing opportunities, you start to open your creative process, right? So that's the first thing. Second one is when you are working with large corporations, usually you have a diverse team. And I just talk about the importance of diversity, right? So different profiles, different backgrounds, and this for creativity, it's fundamental. So if I don't see diversity in groups that I'm working with inside companies, after the workshop or the talk, I talk with the HR department. I say, hey guys, I miss something. I miss diversity. If you wanna develop creativity inside your company, you need to have a diverse team. That's a fundamental point. And finally, to be able to join a high performance company, usually you have high performance people, and working with people who have the determination to make all the difference, and the people that understand the outcome of the job, it's fundamental, especially in the creative field where dedication and effort, they are fundamental for the result. So those opportunities, I would say, that are something that I always try to show to the audience, and also use it as a facilitator.
So, in your experience, then, what are some of the common barriers or misconceptions that hinder individuals from fully embracing their creative potential?
I would say that people don't understand that creativity needs effort. You need to put work. You need to try hard. It's not easy to have good ideas. But usually people say, you know what? Usually I have good ideas when I'm having a shower. So that's it. I will have to come back home and then have a shower. I'll say, okay, so you're going to ask your boss to put some bathroom shower inside your department. That we don't have this possibility anymore. I mean, sometimes, or some years ago, maybe we had this the whole energy and the whole myth of the creative genius, right? I mean, I'm gonna wait for my ideas, and if my ideas they are not coming, I won't have ideas. We don't have this opportunity anymore. We don't have this privilege anymore. We need to seek for opportunity. We need to go and try to reach inspiration. And that's hard for everybody to understand, because it's something that, okay, but how can I do that? How I chase my ideas, how I chase inspiration. And there's no secret about it. There's not impossible. It's just create a method, understand your process of having ideas, how your brain works, how your behavior when you are struggling with ideas. And with this combination, you have thousands of creative processes, of tools. Try to use it. Try to do something different. Oh, but I tried last week and didn't work. That's why I'm doing all the things again the same way. Okay, so that's it. That's your choice. So it's, for me, the most important issue that I always try to help people is how much work you are doing on creativity. How much effort do you put? What was the last book that you read about creativity? If you don't do this, you won't learn. You won't develop. It's an ability. You want to learn how to play tennis. What are you going to have to do? You're going to have to grab a racket and start to right? To go to the field, right? It's the same thing. If you want to learn to cook a new dish, a new plate, you have to put your hands on. The same way, you have to experiment different processes, different creative tools. And of course, it won't work. Usually, at the first time, it won't work. But you're going to improve. Each day, you're going to be better and better and better. And people, they have, it's hard for them to see that. And I struggle a lot trying to open their eyes on that.
So what would you have to say about people who say they do have a lot of creative ideas, but they never really end up implementing them, or they're not consistent in implementing them, and so they start a lot of projects, but they never finish anything? And
I used to play. It's not a joke, but I used to say that the world that has two different types of people in the world, right? The ones that have good ideas. They have good thoughts, and what they do, they open a note saying ideas, and they write down all the ideas, and they have a lot of ideas, beautiful ideas, right? Okay, cool. And on the other hand, you have the second group that they have ideas, they have brilliant thoughts, and not just they open the notebook and they write down, they put in practice. They go there and do it. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because our slogan, I would say, if we're a company from the 90s, it's go there and do it. Perestroika used to sign that. So good ideas, everybody can have good ideas, right? But the difference between having a good idea and putting in practice, it's a huge gap. And it's not enough. It's not enough to have good ideas. You could have a great idea to start this podcast, I don't know how many years ago. But one day, you said, okay, now I have to do it. And at the day that you start, since the day you start to put in practice your podcast, how much did you learn about that? I'm sure that was amazing. You had no idea how many things that you could learn since the day you start doing that. And with the idea only written down in your piece of paper, you don't have this opportunity. So I would say to that person, you have a great idea. Okay, cool. But there's not enough. It's not enough. That's halfway. I won't say even halfway. That's 20%. You have 80%, which is how it works. Put in practice and see this idea getting to life. That's it's all about, right?
So do you have like any interesting case study or a story that you can tell us about an idea of a client of yours or in your life that you felt was creatively taken up and had a beautiful, significant impact or result, or an interesting result?
Yeah, sure. I really loved when Google launched the 20% time. You know, the 20% time was the policy that allowed Google's employees to dedicate 20% of their working hours to pursuing their passion, to do some side projects or innovative ideas. So we created our kind of 20% time inside Perestroika, which was like every day in a week. We did the schedule, but we could we have an afternoon off, and this afternoon off could be in group or everybody, let's go to a museum and try to just hang out, or it could be individual. Each person can decide, okay, I just want to stay, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to write a thing about that. And I think that create space to creativity or to creative work, it's fundamental. We're not used to do this. We have our agenda or our schedule. It's always like we don't have any time slot to create. We have just meetings, or we have to decide this, decide that. But where is this lot for the creative process, for the creative work? So we kind of use the 20% Google time as an inspiration for us, and we organize that. Now we are a little bit evolved on that, and we have like the Friday off. The last Friday of the month, it's off, but it's not guided to the creative work. It's off. So if everybody wants to stay and just sleep, it's okay. We kind of felt that our team need more opportunity to do whatever they want and not necessarily guide them to a creative work. And I'm a huge fan of Lego, right? And I was at the Web Summit Lisbon last year, and I attended to the talk of a represented person from Lego, and she explained what happened to Lego in the 2000s, and how hard it was for them to kind of go with the evolution of technology and things like that. So they were struggling a lot with that, and then they decided to get one step behind and see what are the values of the brand, right? What make Lego a love brand, and then they embrace that, and they embrace creativity, embrace innovation, and they did some kind of re-evaluating product line. So they focused on open-ended play, experiences, collaborating with the huge amount of passionate fans community, and with that they co-create new ideas. For example, Lego Mindstorms kit, which was a huge success. Anyways, they understand the moment, the environment, the context of the world, and said, okay, we're struggling, but we have something that is important that made us be Lego. What is that? Let's go back again and try to use that as a base. And then, okay, connect diversity, diverse community, passionate about Lego, and then co-create that. So I'd like to highlight those two examples.
So all in all, when you take everything you've said today into account, how do you see the future of creativity and creative processes evolving? Like, particularly in the context of technological advancements and changing work dynamics? Like, what does the future hold?
The future holds, I would say, balance. I would say we have to find a balance between human learning, creativity, innovation, and machine learning, creativity, innovation. If we don't find that balance, we're gonna probably, if we don't have balance, we fall, right? And that's that I see the future. Again, I'm an optimistic. I'm sure that we're gonna find a balance. Not everybody from everywhere will find a balance, but the majority of human beings will find a balance, and that's something that I really see as a future. Of course, we're gonna have to learn how to deal with new problems, with new challenges, right? But that's it. Since the day we start evolving and thinking and imagining, we are solving new challenges. So, of course, the challenge will keep. They're gonna change. They will change because of the environment, because of the context of the world. but I see future with balance.
And so the last question for you is of a personal kind. It is, what would you be doing in your life if not this right now?
Wow. I will say surfing, but nobody will pay me to do that because I'm not a great surfer, but I love the sport. So I don't know. I'll try to figure out some way to survive with that.
Yes, that sounds very adventurous. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this month's episode of Outgrow's Marketer of the Month. That was Jean-Philippe, who is a TEDx speaker and partner at Perestroika Group. Thanks for joining us, Jean.
Thank you. Thank you again. Great conversation. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Check out their website for more details, and we'll see you once again next month with another Marketer of the Month.